Hi there, welcome to Fandom Crossing. Today we'll be starting a brand new island from scratch to go with our new theme, which will be Teen Wolf. I was inspired to do Teen Wolf because I love the wolf villagers, and so Beacon Hills was the perfect island to do next. Timmy and Tommy are here to help us get started. So we'll be meeting our new resident representative today. We're going to pick out our island map. We're going to meet our first two villagers and get all of our tents placed on the island. So meet Derek Hale. For those of you who are not familiar with Teen Wolf, Derek is a member of the Hale family, and the Hale family is a pack of werewolves that live in the preserve surrounding Beacon Hills. So Derek's house will be a little bit of forest core. It's going to be away from the rest of the villagers in Beacon Hills. Lots of trees, lots of bushes, very overgrown weeds. Not going to spoil Teen Wolf for anybody, but there will be some elements of the history of the Hale house surrounding Derek's house. So look forward to that as the island unfolds. As we create Derek, our island representative, it's very hard to get an approximation of Tyler Hoechlin as a Animal Crossing character, but we're going to try our best. Brown hair, green eyes, knowing that when we get to having our expanded hairstyles, colors, eye colors, that we'll be able to kind of tweak our representation of Derek. So the most important thing to Derek Hale are his eyebrows. He has a very prominent bushy brow, and that really showcases a lot of Derek's personality in his facial expressions. So we're just going to go with the regular nose, regular mouth, but make sure we have those eyebrows on the face to indicate that this is Derek Hale of Teen Wolf fame. If you are not familiar with Derek Hale or with Tyler Hoechlin, please look him up. You'll thank me later. He's currently starring in Superman and Lois, which I think you can watch on HBO Max. It is a CW show like Supernatural, which I also am a fan of. So it's been good so far. I really enjoyed Tyler. He's a great actor, was fantastic as Derek, and is really great as Superman as well. Now, when it comes to the island layout, I didn't really have anything particular in mind, except for I wanted a peninsula that I would be able to decorate and some rocks that I would be able to decorate. I love the looks of the rocks when they're really full of items and decorated really well, so I wanted to make sure that we had that. Of these 4 islands, I didn't fall in love with any of them in particular, but I also didn't feel like restarting, so I ruled out the 2 on the left kind of immediately. The peninsulas were not great, their piers were not very long, and they just didn't have a great representation of beach rocks, so it was down to the 2 on the right, and ultimately I picked the one on the top just based on the size of the pier and the size of the open space around resident services to start out with. I do like that they both had south-facing river mouths. I was hoping that once I got onto the island, I'd be able to place bridges close to those mouths so that I can terraform around them. So we'll have to see once we get to the actual island. But that was what I was looking for in an island map. Timmy and Tommy, this question, I never know if it actually means anything or if it has any impact on your island or your experience, but I just kind of tried to channel Derek and figured he would be looking for something to kill time. So that's what we picked. And now we're going to get ready to fly to our new island. as the flyover was happening for the first time, I was really excited to see what my native fruit would be, if we could see any flowers, which we couldn't, but we did find out that the island is native oranges, which is not great. Oranges are my least favorite Animal Crossing fruit, but we'll deal because Cherry and Bam are here. I've had friends who have had Cherry and Bam, and they are adorable, so I was so excited that of the starter villages that Cherry and Bam were here on the as yet named Beacon Hills. My starter villagers on my first island were Peck and Pashmina, who I didn't really end up getting along with and kind of kicked them out as soon as I could. Cherry and Bam, I think, will stick around for a little while, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm looking to make a mostly wolf island in the Teen Wolf vein. So Cherry and Bam will be leaving eventually, but they can stick around for a little while at this point. So now we're going to look for a place to put our tents. I wanted to make sure that Derek's tent was somewhere that was further away from the rest of the crowd, further away from resident services, as far as we could get anyway. Derek's house will probably move at some point, but I did want to make sure that even to start out, he was alone in an area that we could, plant some trees and make it really foresty, make it really dense and closed in. So just kind of wandered around here looking for a spot for Derek's house, and ultimately decided to go here, kind of as close to the river as I could get, far away from resident services. So there is a lot that will need to be cleaned up on this island, but I grabbed Cherry first, and then we're gonna go find Bam, and we're gonna pick up both of their tents so that we can find spots for them on the island. The idea to start is to make sure that the houses are in sort of a villager arrangement that are close to resident services, so that I have a lot of space around to terraform once I can do that. I do want it to be sort of a neighborhood vibe, so the less moving of houses that I have to do later, the better. So I tried to get these kind of in line with resident services, but with enough space to pave some roads and to put down some pathing at some point. And I tried to make sure there was enough space between the houses to give a little bit of a yard or something, exciting between them as time goes on. So now that we have placed the houses, we just need a few supplies for our opening night bonfire. Of course, everyone else gets to sweep the dirt, and I have to do all the work. So Tom wants me to get tree branches and investigate things that are growing. So since I've played before, I'm going to pick up the tree branches, but I'm also going to grab some oranges because I know Tom's going to want them to make something to eat or drink or something at the bonfire tonight. So I'm going to pick up some oranges for Tom, pick up my tree sticks, and hand them all to him, to our island overlord here. Yes, I've already collected the oranges, Tom. I know it's surprising to you, but I have them, so they're now for you. So even though we know already that the island name is going to be Beacon Hill, it hasn't yet been named that. Also, we would have named it Beacon Hills with an S, but we are limited to 10 characters, so I was not able to go with Beacon Hills. So Beacon Hill has to do, which is fine because this island is a lot smaller than the actual Beacon Hills is going to be. So we're only going to have pieces of the real Beacon Hills here on our Beacon Hill. So since the island is no longer deserted, we get to name it. And as the island representative, I will say I think it's only right and fair that I do get to name the island. So here we go. We go with BeaconHill. But can't put the S on, so just BeaconHill is right. I will say Bam and Cherry don't have terrible ideas, but they're also not great. Swoleville, we really don't need that, but Roxalot would have been okay as an island name. It just isn't what we're going with because we are emulating Teen Wolf. So since I suggested it and we're going with it, then I become the resident representative. I being Derek, of course. Now that we've officially named our island and Bam is rocking out here around the fire, we're going to chat with Tom Nook to see what to do, and he suggests that we should go take a rest, which I think, you know, considering all of the work we've done so far today, picking up all the sticks and the oranges, seems like a good idea. So I do get momentarily lost here looking for my tent, and then I realize it's all the way in the back. So Derek's gonna go in, set up his radio, set up his little lantern and the cot that Tom Nook gave him before we can take a little rest on that cot. And he's just gonna rest his head because he's getting a little sleepy. Until Tom has the audacity to shout and wake us up. Because he wants to discuss something with us. So that's fine. Derek can get up. Derek will check out and see what Tom Nook wants. Make sure we turn the light on so that we can get back to our tent and not get lost like we did last time. There you are. I hope you had a pleasant nap. I did, Tom. Thank you. So we slept all the way through the first night and into the next day, and since it was nighttime when I was playing, it is nighttime again now, so Derek slept a whole 24 hours, which doesn't seem out of character for him. We're gonna learn how to use our Nook phone, which I do think is one of the cool features of New Horizons. It's really neat to be able to kind of access all the things that we need right there on our phone. And I've used one before, so did not need the full tutorial here. And now we come to Tom Nook's favorite part of any transaction, the bill. I will say that Tom gives better interest rates than most banks out there. 0% on all of your home loans and all of your upgrades is a great deal. However, 5,000 Nook miles at the onset does seem a bit steep for a tent, a ramshackle mailbox, and a flight in what is most likely the most terrifying seaplane that anyone has ever ridden in. So, 5,000 miles, roughly 50,000 bells seems a little bit steep for that compared to the price of upgrading the rest of the home renovations as this goes on. But, again, no interest, so, you know, can't judge Tom Nook too harshly. My new life is now underway and I can do whatever I want. So at this point, we've gone through the whole tutorial. We've gotten the new island set up. We have our tent. We have our Nook phone. We have our first 2 villagers with their tents placed. And we've even already started earning some Nook miles, which is great because we need those to pay off our first loan so that we can start expanding the house. So we're just going to go in here and edit Derek's profile and his passport. Derek is a man of few words. He tends to let his eyebrows do the talking, and so that's what's going to happen here for his comment as well. His eyebrow raise so that you know that he is either questioning what you're doing or judging what you're doing or both. And that's Derek. So Tom wanted us to make a fishing rod. He gave us the DIY for that, so we are currently crafting that from the tree branches that we collected. And now we have completed the DIY workshop, so we can use all the DIYs that we've collected from various sources, be it bottles, balloons, villagers, really anywhere that we picked up a DIY recipe. We can now learn it that we've been through the tutorial. So we did a leaf umbrella, we have a simple workstation, and that is it for our first Let's Play on Beacon Hills. If you liked this Let's Play video of Beacon Hills, I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed under the video, and we will see you next time. Thanks!